I had a birthday this week, and in many ways it felt even more joyful by virtue of every day being largely the same in terms of this time of being stay at home. And once again, technology stepped up with so many wonderful emails and Facebook posts. I felt beloved and happy, able to connect with my children and extended family. It was joyful. And I segue from my birthday to noting that this coming week is the birthday of Israel. Tuesday night and Wednesday will be the 72nd birthday of the State of Israel. And so I thought, in celebration of Israel's birthday, to share a half a dozen achievements in different areas that should give us cause to pause and to celebrate. In the realm of culture, Israel has more museums per capita than any other country in the world. Now, that's in part because of being an ancient land, many museums dedicated to the archaeology and history of the past, being the center of religions, of the monotheistic religions, and therefore museums in that regard, but also its own history and our own love as a people for both learning and memory. In regard to health, medicine, in 1970, 50 years ago, the average age in Israel, the average age in the United States, was 70. Today, well, as of 2 years ago, the average age in Israel is among the highest in the world, 82.60. I'll add that currently the average age in America is 78.54, meaning that in these last 50 years, Israel has advanced and now has a life expectancy more than 4 years longer on average than even in our own country. In the realm of agriculture, there is an urban legend, which means it's not really true exactly, that Israel at Hebrew University was the first to create cherry tomatoes. In fact, cherry tomatoes did exist, but the professors at Hebrew University in these last few decades have been able to take the tomato and the cherry tomato and to reconstitute the seeds so as to have more flavor, a longer shelf life, and more variety. So in the realm of agriculture and in the realm of tomatoes, seeds produced in Israel for tomatoes today cost more per ounce than gold. In the realm of sports, kind of a sport, Jewish sport, that of chess, the Israel city of Beersheba in the south, in the Negev, has more grand masters in terms of the total number, not even per capita. The largest number of grand masters in chess of any city in the world are in Beersheba. In the realm of technology, I often say, what would I do without my mobile apps? Well, a transformative mobile app came out of Israel and sold for in excess of $1 billion, and that was Waze, which was purchased by Google and got incorporated technologically into Google Maps. So when we do drive, so much of our directions, wherever we are in the world, with voice helping us, is a product of Israel. And in regard to the growth of families, one thing that I so admire and have holy envy for my family in Israel is an emphasis on having lots of children. And in that regard, with this emphasis on family as center to one's life, social life, Israel has more in vitro fertilization per capita of any country in the world. And the kicker is, it's free, because Israel has social medicine for all. So in that regard, in the area of medicine. In part, I wanted to get away from COVID-19 because we're entering into Shabbat, but at the same time, just news from this last week as an example of technology and medicine and making a difference in health in the world. Two things happened just this week regarding the search for a vaccine for COVID-19. One Israeli company called MigVax got the funding it sought, $12.5 million, to move forward toward clinical trials that will begin this summer. The funding, by the way, came largely from a venture capital group called Our Crowd, which is managed by John Medved. Some of you may remember Michael Medved from KABC, the radio personality. John Medved is his brother who lives in Jerusalem, who helped fund a professor, Itamar Shalit, and this project that aims to adapt the vaccine that they had developed for the avian coronavirus into an oral vaccine that once it's done, which they hope to do within the year, could produce millions of doses. In reading an article with Professor Shalit to prepare for this moment, he emphasized that not unlike testing for coronavirus, there will be many options in terms of vaccines, simply because to produce vaccines in the hundreds of millions and into the billions will require lots and lots of options. And only with time will it become clear which of those choices of vaccines will be most effective. So that funding took place 3 days ago, and 4 days ago, Professor Jonathan Gershoni of Tel Aviv University received a U.S. patent for another approach to the COVID-19 vaccine. He, for years, starting in 2004, worked on, as a microbiologist, vaccines for SARS and then later MERS. And what he has focused in on that was worthy of a patent is, and this is again now outside my realm of real understanding, is being able to work on the structure of the coronavirus so that the mechanism that infiltrates the human cells, that binds it and makes it effective, which is part of the physiology of the cell, he has a technique to bind it so that it can't target the intended cells. And so those are but two examples of the technology in this moment in Israel in response to COVID-19. Sadly, Israel, not unlike ourselves, has a large spread and very strict rules, in many ways much stricter than in America, more collectively so. And that means that Tuesday night, with Yom Ha'atzmaut, Israeli Independence Day, when normally Israelis would take to the streets to celebrate, to dance, to sing, that will not be the case this year. No doubt, using Zoom and other technologies, there will be some memorable images that will be created. But all the more, amidst this twilight zone time in which we're in, we have paused to seek normalcy. We have paused to celebrate and harvest our blessings. On this, the Shabbat before Israel's 72nd birthday, Yom Ha'atzmaut Sameach, there is much for Israel and for the Jewish people to rejoice in. May Israel go from strength to strength. May she continue to surprise in her successes. And together we say, Amen.